Hello and welcome to Extreme Gameplays, where I play games stylishly. Today, I have a confession to make. Baldur, my sweet brother, I'm sorry that I've been so harsh to you. All the hate that I had towards you changed into curiosity. Why do I hate this last boss fight of God of War 2018 so much? So I replayed and replayed and replayed, and it's not a bad boss. Whoa! I don't give a f**k. That's the worst boss in the world. I'm sorry, Short King. You deserve your flowers. You might be short, but you're definitely not shorter than that Game Informer livestream. Yes, guys, I am sorry for talking all the bad stuff about Baldur all this time on my channel. This is the worst boss fight ever. Okay, why is Baldur 2 so bad? He's not as bad as to make a tier list for him specifically at the lowest point of the tier list. And he's not the worst boss fight in the entirety of God of War. I am sorry. But first, let's see where I was coming from. After all, every villain has an origin story. Here's mine. To you, 2,000 years ago. See, I never looked at this boss the way it was meant to be looked at, aka played, strategically. I just got into a new realm of gaming thanks to DMC5, and that was playing everything to the maximum, stylishly and constantly moving. I lost myself and all my sense of strategy, arguing with people that this boss sucks and you can't launch him and how these goons are misplaced and this arena's small and fuck this guy's mother in the first phase, and do all that because I got into a DMC phase where I wanted every creature, enemy, ally and boss juggled! Made videos dissing the man, put him in the lowest possible rank in my bosses tier list, hated his guts just because he didn't fill in the blanks for my type of playstyle. I wanted to style on every enemy and boss imaginable to the human imagination, and to see what this stylish cape is capable of. Kept on hating him for almost 2 years until now, where I appreciate the sense of strategy in God of War. I started thinking, my second favorite boss in God of War 2 is Theseus, one who requires strategy and not style, and I was like, yeah! And then I realized, wait, one of my favorite bosses in God of War 3 requires strategizing to the fullest and flyest. The Hades Cerberus Breeder, and I'm a combo master at that game. That doesn't make any sense. Then why do I hate Baldur? Why am I never strategizing and guessing and perfecting his fighting style so that I can see the good in him and make a video about him like this? I can see him and I can fight him forever after. I no longer have to hate this precious Ragnar started to death called Baldur. For the love of God, I don't know where I'm going with all this madness that I'm collecting here. All that I say is that I love Baldur. From you, 2,000 years later. So yes, that happened. I changed my mind about Baldur 2. I think it was clear in that shit show you just heard, but let's go through what changed for me. I used to hate this guy because of 3 reasons. First of all, let's get that first phase out of the way. It's very bad, yes, but it is also short, so I don't have problems with it. I don't mind it. I'm talking the second and last phase of this fight. What did I hate about the second phase? I hated how you couldn't juggle Baldur as to make the player think they are on par with him. In the first fight you could juggle him and all, but not here. And I hated this because I go for combos most of the time. Something that changed now. Will say what it is at the end of this listing. Second, I hated this phase because of the goons that support the boss. I hated them so much, but now I kinda changed my mind because of something that I will mention at the end of this listing again. Last but not least, the color coding. Again, this all changed. What made me change my mind about him? Strategy. Something I never tried against him. Yes, that's the answer for all the things I listed above. So first point, I said how I hated him being unjuggleable. Well, now that I have a different perspective about this whole boss fight, I find it okay. Hell, I find it good that you can't juggle him. It's you alone against this powerhouse called Baldur, and you cannot launch this guy now. I started approaching him differently, positioning, solid consistent weapon switching, and constant moving and dodging. It started to turn into a very fun dance with Baldur, not like the amazing perfect Sigrun dance, but an actual close one to that, I would say. Next point where I said I hated the goons. Now I'm not gonna come here and say that I love these mini enemies with him, but I'm kinda more neutral about them now. I start focusing on them sometimes when I play and take them all out and then refocus on Baldur, and sometimes no, I just go about my day dodging them, and some other times they do grab me, but with enough practice I can see myself getting much better at this. And the last point where I talked about the color coding, yes, I do still hate color coding and it is a failure in game design. Except for this guy. I still hate color-coded enemies, but something about Baldur making me switch weapons to damage him is just poetic. No, I'm just kidding. It's not poetic. It's just another challenge on top of the other challenges that he proposes. I'm not saying color-coded bosses are awesome. I'm just saying that for once in my life, this works. And besides, it's good that you can still use the shield and punch moves and with the weapon that damaged him, so that's still better than literal color coding like DMC did. And that's how I got behind the 3 points I listed. That's how I love this phase now. Speaking of phases, let's move on to the last phase, and honestly, it's good. The small arena that I hated makes you play more carefully. As I said at the beginning, strategy. It is very fucking important. I still don't know how I never approached this guy with strategy. I mean, why not? I strategize against Theseus in God of War 2, and it's hella fun. I strategize against Hades Cerberus. He makes you strategize, just like Baldur 2. I strategize against numerous bosses in the games I play. Why not against Baldur 2? Maybe it'll be fun. And little did I know, it is fun. First phase is mad fun and challenging for me now, and let's get back to the last phase. Oh, and by first phase I mean this phase right here with the goons, and not the first one where Freya catches you with her plans. The small arena is just a more pusher for better positioning, as Baldur is doing AoE attacks. In the most heated moment of the battle, you have to slow down and think a little. And the battle starts with rage mode, something that could be fun and useful if you know how to use it from the start, cause one hit and you're out of the rage mode. And from there on, you no longer have goons, just you, boy, and boy 2. And honestly, yeah, every move he does you can think fast of and make quick work out of. As I said, it turns into this dance that you do with Baldur that is fun and challenging. I learned that this boss fight is not just good for when it comes to story, music, and aesthetic departments, it also nails the combat department, and I'm sorry for not acknowledging it. Baldur 2, I'm sorry. It's been your Extreme Gamer Zesty. Peace.